Hi there, and welcome back to Mugful of Mimosas, the podcast where no one has time for proper stemware. So we grab that nearest cup and we fill it on up, because here we come ready to spill the tea, but not our drinks, because, say it with me now, not in this economy. Okay, so first things first, I'm so humbled and in awe of all the love and support I've gotten for this podcast. I struggle with accepting praise and bigging myself up, but I have to say, I'm really proud of what I put out, and I'm really excited to do more stuff like this and expand my reach, because you know what? I'm a pretty dope person to know. So thank you for listening, because it really does mean the world to me. And just know that the best compliment you can give is to recommend this podcast to someone else. Also, give me a follow on Instagram or TikTok, both at Liz Laugh Love NYC, because I share more of myself there and in real time. Plus, you can count on me for some really good affirmations if you're feeling brain dead and can't think of nice things to say to yourself. Don't worry, boo. Liz got you with the kind words. All right, so on to the topic at hand, which is shame and how I'm changing my relationship with it. While I love to say, ain't nobody got time for that, when it comes to self criticism, my mind will make the time, honey. So today I'm going to talk about some areas where I'm flipping the script on shame in relation to myself, the things I said or did to start changing that narrative. So let's talk about it. So, the first area where I'm changing my relationship with shame is around body image. So, before I jump into like what I'm doing, I feel like I got to tell you a little bit of background, right? So, I am an Afro Latina child of the 90s. I am the daughter of skinnier is better. The time from the time of heroin chic, right? I'm the daughter of an almond mom who was always on Weight Watchers or Atkins or the Zone or this diet or that diet, and this shame around weight and image was just so deeply rooted. I mean, like, Latinos love using your insecurities as nicknames of terms of endearment, like, as a fat child, I was gordita everywhere I went. And let me tell you something, it made me want to launch myself off a bridge, like crack open a hole in the floor and have it swallow me up. Every single time somebody called me that, I literally just wanted to disappear and die. And it was not fun. So that's a little bit about like how deeply rooted this kind of shame around body image was. And whatever you see right now, there is such a difference. My body has gone on such a journey over the last 30 plus, oh my gosh, almost 40 years of my life. But in reality, I was overweight since I was like little. I love to eat, and eating was my comfort. That's just the reality, is that as a as a fat kid, those things were kind of just ingrained to me, not being able to shop at the regular people, clothes stores, having to go, to the quote unquote, what I like to call the Sunday church section of the stores in order to find things that fit, which was really just a plus size. And I called it that because it was clothes for adults and I wanted to dress up and like in cute things. But that's the background. I have a long history and a lot of experience being fat and hating my body and being told by everyone, society, family, that my body is gross and I'm right to hate it and I need to work as hard as possible to change it. So there's that. And so a couple of years ago I decided to do something again to change my body in and of itself. And this was before the body image work. This was just like, hey, I'm at my fattest, I'm at my biggest, I want to lose weight. So I did Weight Watchers, and this is a caveat. I've done Weight Watchers multiple times. I've done Weight Watchers 3 times in my life. And I am a huge advocate of Weight Watchers, because Weight Watchers always says to you, One, it's a lifestyle change. We are not a diet, which I absolutely support and like throw all my weight behind. Like you have to change your lifestyle. You can't just get on a diet. And I've had success with Weight Watchers. I'm a huge fan. I love them, and I feel like with Weight Watchers, there's never anything that's off limits. Weight Watchers doesn't say like, no, you cannot eat this, and not having that restriction in my brain really does feel like, you know, it just allows me to have some sort of freedom. Once I get that restriction, my brain's like, that's all I want. I kind of like lock in. So there's that. And I'll talk more about weight loss and this journey in another episode, or if you want to know specifically about what of my weight loss journey you want to know about, leave me a comment or reach out to me on Instagram or on TikTok. But we're getting back to the issue at hand, which is body image, right? So a couple years ago, I did Weight Watchers, and I got really serious. I found a trainer as well, and I started to lose weight consistently. And over the past, I want to say maybe couple of years, I've lost about 100 pounds down from my highest weight. And it's been huge because I look different. I look so different than what I look like when I started this journey, but feeling comfortable with my body has been a struggle, even as the weight has come off, because now I didn't like quote unquote fix the problem. Now I just have quote unquote different problems. I'm dealing with different issues, like, and but new issues to me, like loose skin. And like now my boobs are a little flat. And, this felt really hard to me because I was just like, I'm doing all of this work. It feels super challenging. And like I still look a little crazy. And by a little crazy, I mean a lot crazy because I always like try to be, like soften the blow. And so in the midst of my weight loss, I had some mental health breaks and I found my amazing therapist, which I talk more about in episode 1. So if you want to hear more about that, go back and listen to episode 1. But starting my work with her, that was one of the main things that we talked about. In addition to like me feeling better and saying nicer things about myself, body image was one of the things that we talked about. And like she said, you have to you have to convince yourself that you love your body and that your body is great. And I was just like, no, that's your job. That's what you do. And she's like, no, I just give you the tools and you got to do it. So she was just like, go and start like go into the mirror and say nice things about your body, like say affirmations about your body. And with this struggle of losing weight, feeling comfortable with my body has been even more of a struggle, because before it was kind of just like, okay, I know what this looks like. I know that this is not desirable because I'm not doing anything about it. But on the flip, I was doing a lot of things about it and it just felt like nothing was happening. So it was a struggle. I gotta say, like doing that, feeling comfortable with my body, believing the things that I said, uh, was a struggle. And so I told my therapist this, like this is a struggle. Like I generally excel at things. I don't do things that I don't know I'm gonna excel at, and this is a struggle. So what's going on? And she asked me, like, well, so what does it look like when you're, saying these things to yourself in the mirror? And I was just like, well, like I wake up, I say it, and then I go on about my day. And she's like, wait a minute, wait. Like, are you like looking at yourself? And I'm like, sometimes, like, yeah, sure. And she's like, okay, well, are you naked? And I'm like, no, why would I be naked? And she's just like, girl, you want to feel better about your body. You gotta tell yourself things and look at yourself and believe it. You have to convince yourself. And this felt hard, right? Because I didn't believe what I was saying. I started doing what I thought was the requirement, right? Like getting in the mirror and saying things like, "Oh, you're the sexiest thing in the world and your body is perfect," but not believing anything that came out of my mouth. And you know what? And she was just like, okay, so like try something different. And one day I changed it, and I think I have the secret. Do you want to know the secret? Do you want to appreciate and love your body? Well, I'm here to tell you how. How, you ask? Come on, lean in close and get the secret. Just look yourself in the eyes and believe the words you say. Sorry if you think that I swindled you, but I promise you that there is no secret sauce. Because, baby, if there was, I'd be the first in smoking on Shark Tank, making a killing, okay? Rich, money falling from the skies from selling that sauce. I'd probably call it something like, I don't know, Liz's Flossy Saucy, trademark. Don't steal my idea. Uh, but yeah, that was it. That's Sorry, kids, but that's the secret, is you gotta believe the things that you're saying to yourself. And then eventually they'll just come true. I started by like looking at myself in the mirror and saying, your body, your legs are very strong because they can hold you up. And then I would start saying, like, wow, you are really flexible. All things that are true, that I couldn't deny, that regardless of how big I was, how small I was, how fat I was, how skinny I was, how tan I was, how pale I was, regardless of how heavy I was, how light I was, regardless, I was always going to be flexible with some restrictions because my belly, right? My legs were always going to be strong because they were always going to hold me up. And you start saying things like that to yourself. And then slowly your brain starts coming up with things that you believe are true, that are true. Like, oh, I do like the way that my boobs look today. They look kind of nice. Oh, wow. I my shape is really like looking appealing to me. Okay. Oh, look at that. I'm getting a little booty back there. Okay, my workouts are paying off. It was just really about saying these things to myself and then just actually saying them over to myself, looking at myself in the eye until I believe them. And spoiler alert, I believe it. I believe all of those things. You cannot tell me I am not the baddest bitch out there, right? But there are also some days where I'm just like, ugh, these boobs are looking a little flat. Oof, I wish this butt was a little big. I have a long ass back, right? Like all of those things. But it all starts with you convincing yourself. And if you are just like, I'm never going to do that, then guess what? You've already manifested it. You're never going to do that. That ties in perfectly to another area of my life where I'm actively working on changing my relationship with shame, and that is in my romantic relationship with my husband. Um, so I always say I'm the last person to talk to about dating advice because I've been off the market for quite some time. But you know what? In the spirit of bigging myself up, I have to give myself props for maintaining my relationship. Although we're only newly married, I've been with my husband for 14 years. So we're like fully enmeshed in each other's lives, right? So this man has seen me at my fattest, at my skinniest, my prettiest, and my ugliest, and everything in between. You name it, and he's seen it. So why in the hell does the little voice in my head tell me that I should feel shame or embarrassment about myself when he's around, about my decisions, when we're talking about my opinions? I don't know. I always worry he'll be grossed out by beyond repair by, I don't know, something like stinky feet or like flappy loose skin, or the way my body has changed post weight loss. But the fact of the matter is that he doesn't care. Like, he does not care at all. I mean, he's a human, right? So he's gonna notice a smelly armpit when we're getting frisky, right? Because that's real, that's a thing that's happening. Or he's gonna give me a side eye if I like put clothes on to go outside, but I'm on day 3 without a shower. Right? You know, pandemic life. But he's locked in, right? He married me. He married me For God's sakes, I mean, it took him way too long to marry me, but that's not today's topic. Right, right, right. Okay. So what do I do how do I change my relationship with shame when it comes to my partner, my husband, the person that like I'm making my life with? Is I just remind myself. This is a moment where I use a myriad of techniques, right? Because my brain is really good at like creating scenarios, right? So like I have to remind myself my partner wants the best for me always. Every move he makes, every word he says is meant with love and care behind it, even if it's sassy, even if it's snarky, right? But like I said, my brain is smart. So 100% of the judgments that I think he's passing on me are surprise created by me. My brain, this brain that I have on my head, one thing that I will say that I can never, ever downplay, I will always big up, this brain is very smart and stellar at coming up with crazy ass scenarios that have no freaking basis in reality because my imagination is off the freaking charts. So sometimes I have to take myself out of my head and I have to put myself in the present moment. In those moments where I'm just like, worried about, if it's something, intimate or romantic, if, like we're getting frisky, if like we're kissing or something, and I take myself out of the moment. Oh my God, I haven't showered, you know, what am I gonna do? Like, what is he gonna think? What is he gonna say? Girl, he initiated it and he lives here. So he knows you ain't showered and he still chose it. So he loves you. In the same way that I have to also remind myself, I have to flip the script. I have to flip the script. And if the tables were turned, what would I want? I would do it. I would move forward. I don't care about him. I love him. So sometimes he's stinky and that's okay. Sometimes, he he's in a mood and that's okay. So in those moments, I have to remind myself this person chose me and I chose this person. And, when somebody makes a conscious choice, they choose good and bad. But when it comes to the body stuff, where I feel like he'll be yucked out or something like that, it's a little easier to come back by grounding myself in the moment, reminding myself, enjoy the feeling, or using the what do you see, what do you hear grounded techniques. But, it's a little harder to get myself out of the feelings of shame when it has to do with my actions or my perceptions of his perceptions. So, straight up, if I feel judged in my relationship, if I feel shame about something, I outright tell my partner. Spoiler alert, it took me 14 years, 5 medication calibrations, and 3 therapists for me to finally give in and do this. So, my hope is that you hear this today and save yourself some time, some money, some energy, and just tell your partner how you feel. Why? Because if they're the right one for you, they're going to help you see just how silly your brain is being. See the scenarios that your mind is creating, the imaginary connections that your mind is making. They're gonna help you get out of that. And if they're the wrong one for you, they're just gonna make you feel crazy and gaslit. They're gonna drive you deeper into that feeling. And at the end of the day, you have to remember, nobody the person who loses the most from a closed mouth is me. If I don't advocate for me, if I don't say what I feel, if I don't say what I need, if I don't say what I want, I can't get it. And I'm not gonna, because closed mouths don't get fed. That actually ties in perfectly to the next topic that I've been kind of changing my relationship with shame about, and that is around work versus worth. So we've reached the final point of separating your worth from your work. And truth be told, I kind of don't really have any tips here. And looking for tips. Looking for tips from you. Leave them in the comments, send them to my Instagram because I am struggling big time. Like I mentioned before, I am Afro Latina. My Dominican family instilled in me immigrant values of, like if you're not working, you're useless. You need to be contributing, you need to be producing. Like, what are you doing? Not to mention, like, this capitalist society, right? Of like, if you are not giving something, if you're not making something, if you're not producing something, a physical, tangible thing to the world, then you're worthless and you're not doing anything. And, it's just been really hard for me to accept the fact of, and get ready, like, hold your butts here. You are valuable. Period. Did you fall over? Like, were you sitting down? Like, let me say it again. You are valuable, period. Regardless of what you make, regardless of what you produce, whether you cure cancer or, binge a 20 season show in a week, or can crush a can on your forehead, regardless of any of that, like, you're valuable and you bring value and worth to, like, whatever you do just by being you. So this that has been really hard for me to accept and believe and have it be real, because I'm just used to going, working, producing, and it's not easy. And it feels bad. And I sometimes, most times actually, don't know what I'm doing when it comes to separating my worth from my work. And then I translate that into things that I love, right? Like, okay, well, since I'm not working, I can be useful and, bring worth by doing something else, producing content on Instagram, producing this podcast, or, writing things down, or, giving my friends advice. You just have to stop in those moments and just in those moments think about what you're grateful for, right? Think about your group, your people, your tribe, your the people that you surround yourself with, because they chose you and they keep choosing you. And that means something. That means that you bring value and you bring joy and you bring something to them, to their life. You enrich them in some way, literally just by existing, by breathing, by being. And that is something that I have to just keep reminding myself out loud, very similar to the body image work that I've done, and retrained my brain. I am actively doing that for retraining my brain to separate my worth from my work. I think for me the key is saying these things out loud. Saying these things out loud, looking myself in the mirror when I say them, and saying, like, you are valuable. You bring worth to any room you step in, literally just by breathing. Saying those things and just saying them over, convince yourself. Convince yourself, because it's actually true. Like, if we are actually talking about it, if we're if we want to really get into the tea of it all, right? It's true. You bring value to the people that you interact with. You bring joy to those that, you know, choose to surround themselves with you and your love and just your light, your energy. So in those moments where you're just like, I'm not producing anything, I'm not doing anything, I'm not being useful, I'm not being of value, I'm not bringing any worth to this project, to this table, to this relationship, to this interaction, just remember that you are valuable just by existing. And if that's all you take from this, then that's all you take. But remember that in those moments when you're struggling, you are valuable just by existing. And again, that's not something that I believe every day, but it's something that I'm going to say to myself every single day until I believe it, because that's how I retrain the brain to get its shit together, right? Because it's shape up or ship out. It's wait, shape up or ship out. That's how you say that, right? Right. Okay. Great. And that's a wrap on episode 2, y'all. So to recap, if you want to start retraining your brain, you have to believe the words coming out of your mouth, and you have to look yourself in the eye and believe the words coming out of your mouth. If you don't believe it, say something different. Say something you believe, because your brain will just follow suit. I promise you. I know it sounds simple, but it's hard as shit. So I am sending you all the positive vibes for when you actually decide that you're ready to start that work, because it's hard, but it's worth it, because your peace is worth it. So, as always, thank you for listening. And if you like what you heard, please share this podcast with a friend. And if you have a minute, I'd be so grateful if you could leave me a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to Mugful of Mimosas. And also follow me on Instagram or TikTok, both at Liz Laugh Love NYC, for more of this millennial life with an emphasis on daily affirmations. I'm like a big proponent of that. I've already talked about that. Listen to episode 1 if you want to hear more. Staying fit, fat, and fabulous, and peppered with a lot of judgment from my lazy dog, my Shiba. So thanks, and see you next week. Bye.